We are going to get Kevin Frankish. And there he is. How are you, sir?
Well, this actually,
Hey, I love the studio.
thank you. Okay, so have you run an intro yet or anything like that?
Well, we've done a number of posts. So anyone just joining, anyone joining right now, if you can't tell, I have joined the Movember movement,
And
Kevin Frankish joins me to help with that, and we are discussing over the next half hour men's health.
and I have the music. Ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. Yeah.
Nice. I was thinking we should have some Queen on.
Yeah.
I've been getting the Freddie Mercury comment. What do you think?
Hold on. Let's see.
Betty Boop Tat 66 misses you, Kev. A lot of people miss you on the morning show. What have you been up to?
I'm doing a podcast. Hold on. Trying to find something. Oh, you know what? This will be for you.
So anyone joining now, we are talking men's health, inside and outside the bedroom, which is actually why I'm standing in my home. And Kevin has graciously decided to, and I've requested that he join me last second, and he was available. Thank you, Kevin.
You know what? I think this is the reason why.
Yeah.
This is Mercury. Mr. Bad Guy. Right.
Nicely done.
Right.
On cue too. On cue. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I'm getting the Freddie Mercury right now. I got a family member suggest Tom Selleck. I don't know about that. Maybe when he was a lot younger, but
Tom Selleck.
I'm going with Freddie Mercury. So listen, everybody. What we decided to do. Turns out that us guys, I don't know if you agree with this, Kev, though, but us guys are a lot more visual learners than we are auditory or kinesthetic. Do you agree?
Oh, most definitely. And the other thing too that I agree with is that we guys don't really care about our health, whether it's mental health or whether it's our physical health, until it's too late. So this will be perfect what you're planning here.
I agree. I mean, my client base, I've been seeing patients for the last 20 years plus, actually, and it's a primarily female-based practice in natural medicine. And that's because guys have to have their heads cut off or bleeding from an orifice before they come on in and get checked up. We certainly don't really buy into the prevention as much as females do, that's for sure. So this message today, over the next half hour, all about guys' health. For all you females joining us, thank you, because you are likely a counterpart with vested interest in a guy's health that you love.
Do you know what, Grace? Whenever I was, when I was on television and we had to get so it would be like fire prevention, or it's, what we always do is we would say to the kids, hey, kids.
Hey, Kev, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm so sorry. I'm getting choppiness. It could just be me. I don't know. If anyone else is hearing that choppiness, if you don't mind just commenting whether Kevin's clear to you or not.
Yeah. Let me try this microphone. How's that?
Yeah, that's coming in clear.
That better?
Yeah, now you're good. Yep.
You know what? I used to have a crew behind me. I used to have like 30 or 40, but not anymore. It's just me.
That's okay. So what were you saying? Start that all over.
Okay, I was saying that we always, one thing, when you want to get a message across, talk to someone else, not to the person you want to get the message to. So, for instance, if you want to get the message across, check the batteries in your smoke alarms, or put your seatbelts on. You would talk to the parents. You would say, kids, remind your parents to check the battery. Your seatbelt on. Did. And so it's the same thing here. I know we have a lot of ladies watching. In fact, I'd love to see some comments now because I want to make sure my comments are working. So if everybody just says hi. We have a lot of ladies watching. So you know what? You care about your guy. Pass this message on to them because they don't want to talk. They don't want to talk about it. We don't want to talk about it.
And we are today. And so if you comment below, we will get to your questions throughout the next half hour. Ask anything, you know, from prostate health to mental health, heart health. On that note, I don't know, Kev, I don't know if you've experienced a scare in your life as it relates to guys' health. I certainly have. You know, there was a few years ago when I was running a very busy clinic, doing a lot of media, writing books. And I walked the walk, talk the talk, but stress took over and I developed hypertension. I had some high blood pressure and that was really scary for me. I was all of a sudden the patient. Of course, I knew what to do about it, which was the lucky part. And I began to clean some things up and do what I needed to do and took some natural meds and my blood pressure's been fine ever since. But that was scary. And you're right, guys just don't acknowledge it. And we got to get their vested, interested partners on their behalf. And that's the message to you folks there today as well. Your significant others, your loved ones, we got to get the message to them.
Okay, and like you said, you want to be visual. So instead of us just blathering on our pretty faces, you want to kind of bring and make the connection between men's health and your house.
So we're visual learners, like we discussed earlier at the top, and guys just have to keep something in their minds. So what I'm going to bring it to you is we're going to walk around my house, room to room, in context of men's health. So why don't we start off in my bedroom, Kev? You're not invited, though.
All right, Bryce.
You're not invited. Welcome to my bedroom. And the reason I'm starting here is because we got to have this conversation. We got to have to open this conversation up to sex, prostate, and all those things in between. ED, so erectile dysfunction. And so let's start with prostate. It's a really important topic. It's a really important focus. And I'm part of the Movember movement. That's one of the biggest focuses within Movember. Is to consider getting checked. I think guys need to get in and get regularly checked, especially when they, like us, hit middle age. So if you're experiencing any urgency or need to urinate, both day and night, trouble starting to urinate, or weak or dribbling urine stream, or even urine flow that stops and starts, or you're feeling like your bladder is really full and it never really empties, you might be experiencing BPH, or benign prostate hyperplasia. What this is the prostate starting to enlarge. So I've got a prostate. It's not really a prostate. This is a walnut, but this is exactly the size and shape of your prostate, even with those little bumpy ridges there. And
that's up your bum, right?
It's up your butt and just in front of your spine, and your urethra, or what you use to evacuate your bladder, urine, goes through it, as well as your seminal vesicles. So that you're ultimately, what goes through your prostate relates to ejaculate and urine. When your prostate...
Sorry, you just hiccup there. So.
Oh, so what I was saying is it's important the prostate stays healthy so that your urination and your flow and your ejaculate flow is normal. When it enlarges, a comparison here is a kiwi. It gets to be this size, and then it clenches on the urethra, the ureter, and ultimately your flow is not healthy. Both ejaculate and your urination flow are not healthy. This also, by the way, significantly affects sex drive, libido, and other male-related, and androgen-related components. So getting tested is really, really important. And I want to mention that if you're experiencing painful or burning urination, or you're experiencing blood in your urine or your semen, or if you have painful ejaculate, guys, you might have prostate cancer, and you got to get checked. And that's the point of screening. Now, got some solutions, and it starts... No, first of all, before I even start, because you know me, Kev, I mean, I don't, and I got to be above board here. My sponsor today is A.Vogel, a wonderful Swiss-born herbal company. I've been to Switzerland numerous times. You've heard me talk about this because they make my favorite cold and flu spray. And this is made from echinacea. It's called echinophorus. And this has been proven in over 30...
Show us the label, because that way people, again, visual learners. So let's see what the logo looks like and the label, what you're looking for. Okay.
Yeah, that might be backwards. Is that backwards to you? So it's called echinophorus.
Sure. It'll be the other way around.
Right. So echinophorus by A.Vogel. And the reason why I love these folks is because they manufacture, control purity, potency, quality, you know, all they manufacture it, and they are the consumer facing brand, and they have the highest quality product. So the reason that cold and flu product is one of my favorites is because in over 30 human clinical trials for cold and flu, it reduces duration and severity. Not only that, it could prevent you from actually getting a cold and flu in the first place. All right. And we're all focused on viruses in this day and age. They're also currently doing some research that's shown effective against this very novel coronavirus. Check it out. Again, of course, do the PubMed search. You're going to find the research. It's pretty incredible. But what they also make is my favorite guy's product. Okay. This is called Prostate One. It's a saw palmetto product. It's a 1-a-day pill. And the reason I've been using it in clinical practice for so many years, and it works, is because it increases when you've got BPH. It's what it's for, the benign prostate hyperplasia. It increases your sex drive. It increases your libido, and it increases your erectile function as well as your ejaculatory function, Kevin.
So, okay, if when you talk about other enhancement pills for guys, sexual enhancement pills for guys, what is that doing to your prostate? Is that something you should be concerned about? I mean, benefits are incredible. What?
Yeah, and you're a little choppy again, Kev, but I'll tell you that, symptoms that I've seen in terms of the BPH symptoms, are 80% better, up to 80% better. The literature shows 40 to 50 within just a few weeks.
I mean, is it a little better now? I don't know.
A little
why.
better, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What I'm wondering about is when you talk about things like the blue pill, though, is that doing anything to your prostate?
No. So Viagra and other types of those blue pills, that works by what's called vasodilation. So that increases blood flow significantly to the nether region. In fact, it wasn't even studied initially as a pill for erectile dysfunction. That happened to be a side benefit that Viagra was achieving. So what it really is for cerebral vascular problems and cardiovascular problems. As we study this for, even things like acute mountain syndrome, if you're getting, high up in altitude. So, it was for pulmonary, actually, dysfunctions. So they found a side benefit was erectile dysfunction. And, but saw palmetto and other natural ingredients like it, the Prostate One particularly, this works to actually help to clear DHT or dihydrotestosterone, which when you're older and it's elevated, this particular hormone, and this is what I want guys to think about when we're talking about getting tested. I'll talk about the ramble out the test in a second, but this will help to shrink the prostate that has enlarged, and therefore, as I mentioned, have a better flow for urine, have a better flow for semen, and everything else down there works better. Okay, I want guys to think about, and even gals to think about getting their guys to get tested the right way when it comes to prostate and BPH in particular. So once again, prostate cancer is a totally different thing. In enlarged benign prostate hyperplasia is when the prostate grows from approximately the size of the walnut to the size of the kiwi or more. And your doctor can snap on a glove and they can do what's called a digital rectal exam, and they can feel the contour and the circumference is not good and it's enlarging. That's one way to get tested, and we should if your doctor says so. The other way is on blood work.
Yeah.
And looking at things like PSA or prostate specific antigen, right? Which is your body's immune system recognizing the prostate is enlarging. Another way to get tested is actually to do testosterone, but testosterone in the right way. So not just testosterone, in terms of total, but free testosterone. Bioavailable testosterone is really important. So ask your doctor for that. And then look at DHT, dihydrotestosterone. That's like testosterone on testosterone. It's the very virulent form of testosterone, stronger form of testosterone. And that's what causes guys to develop hyperplasia or enlarged prostate. And so these kinds of products like the Prostate One, this is actually managing that particular cascade from testosterone into DHT. All right. And what we want to get out of that is, there's no side effects to taking this. One a day. It'll increase your libido, your sexual function, as well as, reduce the enlarged prostate.
That's all guys here. Yeah. Whatever it does is fine. But if it increases the libido, now quite often when we talk about serious issues and serious diseases and sicknesses, it's always like 1 in 1,000 people, 1 in 100,000, 1 in 1,000,000. The stats though on prostate cancer are staggering. 1 out of 7 men will be diagnosed with prostate. That's that's phenomenal.
It's alarming. It's alarming, and so we don't act on it, and we got to act on it, and that's the point of getting tested. That's the point of becoming aware of natural products like A.Vogel's Prostate One. Again, above board and full disclosure, they are my sponsor today. But I only work with companies that manufacture the cleanest, best natural products. I won't touch anything that's not human, clinically validated and studied. So.
I
I
see.
am now in my washroom.
Yeah, I see behind you. Oh, I've used one of those on over your left shoulder. I've used one of those before. It's a face wash. Face.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's for. Yeah. The reason why I'm in my washroom, though, guys have to. I mean, look, we spend a lot of time in here, more than the female counterpart, I believe, and we're not shy to admit that. But I think what we need to do more of is take a look at our poop. We don't really care, and often that's not a good thing either. I mean, there's a significant degree of colon cancer amongst our ilk, and so we got to get checked for that as well. And I think we got to start to look and compare as to what's normal. So just like there's a Snellen eye chart, Kev, you've been to the doctor and you've had your eyes checked, and they get you to look at those different lines from bigger to smaller letter. That's a Snellen eye chart. Guess what? There is a poop chart, and that poop chart is called the Bristol stool chart. You can look it up, Google it. You want to be between a 3 and a 4. That's normal poop. When you're outside of those ranges, you're probably deficient in both pro and prebiotics. Prebiotics are soluble fiber. This is an example of one here. These guys are not my sponsor, but this works. I use this clinically. So it's prebiotic sun fiber. You can find them, here in over the counter. Weber makes a form. And what this is soluble fiber, and it dissolves in water. Becomes tasteless, odorless. You can add it to your water during the day. There you go. Nicely done. There's the Bristol stool chart. Thank you. So you want to be that type 3 to type 4, the sausage, but a little ribbed on the surface. But it comes out like an Olympic diver, just like no splashes, no bullets, just nice and easy right into the bowl, and looks like that type 2 to type 3 right there. Or sorry, the type 3 to type 4. Yeah. And so anything more than that, and there might be some constipation. Anything less than that, and you actually are probably having too loose a bowel. So probiotics and prebiotics. This is the new story. Prebiotics are all about the soluble fiber that feeds the good bacteria, Kev. So more of that in our diet.
I want to ask you a question. I've been wanting to ask this a long time. Go back to the bathroom for a second. Go back to the bathroom for a second. And because we did see the bidet there in your bathroom. It's something that is relatively rare to see in bathrooms in the West. So what are the advantages of the bidet? And by proper cleaning, proper hygiene back there, how does that impact your process?
Well, it's interesting you're asking that in context of a guy. I don't really have an answer for you other than we should probably do better at keeping ourselves clean. But really for women, the anatomy is simple. For women, it's the transfer of E. coli from the anus to urethra. And that E. coli doesn't belong in the vaginal canal or urethra. That ultimately is what is the backbone of urinary tract infections. So it's very important for women, after intercourse and after having, what ultimately might be a messy bowel movement, to bidet. And so that's more of a female story. Guys, it's not going to affect the prostate if, we're not hygienic or wipe ourselves well enough, but it'll probably affect our significant other.
Yes, definitely. Where are we going? We just did the bathroom. We're going to the home office.
One of the home office. It's a different look and feel in this day and age, but I am spending a lot of time here, as I imagine you are as well, taking consults and doing the Zoom meetings and all kinds of fun stuff. But you know what? Our bells have been rung. This is what I affectionately refer to as a COVID concussion. We're all experiencing greater states of anxiety and uncertainty, and we're stressed out. I mean, I'm not sure if you're feeling it. I admit to be feeling it, this level of discombobulation and uncertainty that comes with the COVID times. So thought I'd share, one of my favorite stress tips. Stress and anxiety, we can do this for nothing. It's free. It takes nothing more than 3 or 4 minutes of your time, and it goes like this. Deep breath through your nose for a count of 5. You hold for a count of 7. Then out through pursed lips for a count of 8. You do that multiple times for roughly 3 or so minutes, you will ground yourself like nothing else I know. If I could put that into a pill, in fact, a lot of studies show that that is just as or more effective as the benzodiazepines, the type of classification of, by the way, very addictive drugs that work to calm our nervous system, kind of zone and numb us out. But that works as well in certain human clinical trials. The other thing, and I've talked to you about this too, Kev, on your podcast, which we'll talk about as well today, because people should know about this, the happy molecule, phenomenal movement, phenomenal podcast. But theanine, I've talked to you about theanine before. So theanine, particularly suntheanine, is the ingredient you want to look for on the label. It's got more than 90 human clinical trials that have proven alpha wave enhancement, increasing alpha wave. That is the Zen brainwave. So what I mean by that is when we're on the go and we're anxious or we're adrenalized, cortisol is up. But when we're in more relaxed, focused state, the Zen or alpha wave is engaged. And by the way, that breathing technique I was just mentioning, that is also going to induce alpha wave. But theanine is an amino acid that taken a few times a day, 200 milligrams twice a day is what I recommend it, is going to improve focus, alertness, concentration, and better sleep at night at the same time as relaxing you.
Just before we go on any further, I'm not sure. We may be having some technical issues here because the viewer count has been, but I can go into the viewers and see we have a lot more than what the count is saying. I'm not getting any comments yet. When we did a test about an hour ago, just for a test, we were getting dozens and dozens and dozens of comments. Are you seeing any comments? I'm not seeing anything.
Yeah, I'm getting a ton. You might have to enlarge your comment section.
I've tried. It's just not. So I just want to make sure.
Well, I'll flip through them. You're
going to have to do it then because mine is just frozen. So if there are comments, I don't think I'm going to them. I wanted to ask you because I'm such an advocate for mental health, and we know that when you have depression, that there are actually studies showing that it can trigger cancer cells. But I mean, it's connected to so many other sicknesses and diseases. What is there, if there is any connection, is there between your mental health and your prostate health?
That is an incredible, but wonderful and insightful question. So cancer, let's just define it as simply as we possibly can, are rogue cells that are immature, that divide quickly, that your immune system doesn't identify as foreign. And they also send out signals to sneak you, or to be tricky to your immune system to help prove that they are, that they should be there. So that's generally how cancer works. Now, some people might be more predisposed genetically to lung or brain cancer, or be exposed to the environment that causes those or increases the chances of those types of cancers. Prostate cancer in particular is significantly more likely to occur in a hyperandrogenized individual. So we have a spectrum of guys, like we can be a more estrogenized guy or a more female type guy, or we can be more of a man's guy, like the guy that takes one outing at the gym and he's ripped and he's got typically a bald head, and that dude has a lot of DHT in him, which is again that thing that can contribute to a benign prostate hyperplasia, but also to prostate cancer. So having said all that, stress will induce, or in any cancer, stress will cause the body to have a depressed or a dysfunctional immune system. And when you have a dysfunctional immune system, cancer is that much more likely to spread. Most prostate cancer actually doesn't spread. Most of us will go to our grave after the age of 80, and upon biopsy or post-mortem, there's some degree of prostate cancer there. But it's not what kills us. What kills us is when it moves out of the prostate to the rest of the body. That's what actually killed my grandfather. He lived till he was 82, and that's really, who I have in my heart today when I'm talking about men's health and the Movember movement. And that's so it moved from his prostate to his brain and other places. That's when it gets dangerous. So stress will allow the movement of those rogue cells out of the prostate to the rest of the body much easier, Kev.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to show you this. Hold on. Where did it go?
Meanwhile, I'm going to meet you on the couch.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna bring this in just for a sake of reference.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Okay, so we're looking at the prostate now. Prostate gland, same as a prostate.
That's it right there. Yeah, just under the bladder. And that blue material, the blue stuff you're looking at there, that is, of course, the penis and the penis muscle. And so that urethra out of the bladder will go down through the prostate and then, of course, through your penis and out. And so when that prostate enlarges and it's got no place to go, it's going to clamp down on that urethra. There it is, compressed urethra. Then you're going to have dribbly urine, a sense of not being able to fully evacuate your bladder, which can occur both at night as well as during the day. And those are signs and symptoms, of course, of an enlarged prostate and benign prostate hyperplasia. BPH is the technical clinical description.
And BPH, by the way, we were talking about stats just a minute ago. So we said 1 in 7 men will get prostate cancer. But there's another stat that is something of concern, and that is 1 out of every 2 men, so 50%, 1 out of every 2 men in their 50s will have benign prostate hyperplasia or BPH. 1 out of 2. Now, we say it's benign, okay. So tell me about that.
Well, it wrecks your life. Benign means non-cancerous, but you're waking up. I mean, we talked about how stress can impact cancer and other predispositions you might have, heart disease, diabetes, weight gain. Stress does a lot of bad stuff to us when it's chronic. It's not always a bad thing. You want to engage your adrenal glands that control cortisol. They sit on top of your kidneys. They produce adrenaline, cortisol. You want to engage those. It's actually highest in the morning and tapers off during the day because it's what allows us to be stronger, faster, and better and think, on our feet. But too much stress, and it's going to depress the immune system, as I mentioned earlier. But benign will still wreak havoc. You'll wake you up in the middle of the night. You can't fully evacuate your bladder. Your sex drive goes down, libido. You're just not, you're not the guy that you used to be, and it's fixable. So Prostate 1 by A.Vogel, which is a natural saw palmetto in supplement, 1 a day, has been shown that very quickly, within weeks, 40 to, and I've seen in my own clinical practice, up to 80% reduction of those symptoms. So that's a pretty incredible thing.
Okay. Now, one thing I've learned from you, and sorry,
I'm just seeing a bunch of questions come through, so I'm going to actually start answering some.
Yes.
So Willis.on just asked, does BPH always remain benign? Wonderful question. So although it's benign, it is more likely to become cancerous versus a regular prostate all of a sudden going from regular to cancerous. And again, a lot of the driving fuel behind that is this DHT, which enlarges the prostate. That's the dihydrotestosterone, which you can get tested for on blood. And then PSA, prostate-specific antigen, which we should be tracking. It's one of those things that has to vector up before we're concerned. Your doctor will talk to you about that, as well as do a digital rectal exam. Is when that starts vectoring up, the immune system recognizes that this growth is so fast and there might be other problems, so therefore biopsy might be indicated, but it's curable. So the question, full circle, is does BPH always remain benign? No, it doesn't. That's why we want to get tested. Also, Shannon.Muri, so important. Thanks for having this conversation. Oh, you're welcome. At Sandra Bianchi Plesse, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Can a teen boy take saw palmetto to prevent high DHT for acne? That is a wonderful question. I use it just like that in my clinical practice. And if it has been found that DHT is a reason or a contributing reason for sebaceous gland blockers and acne, because that's what you produce as a boy going through puberty, you produce even more. If that's found to be the cause, yeah, saw palmetto might help. I should whip over to the kitchen, Kev, because actually we didn't have our couch conversation here.
No, we haven't had our couch conversation. I just wanted to ask one more question because someone the teenage boy and acne. We said at the beginning, if you weren't with us at the beginning, that men don't care about their health, their prostate health especially, until it's too late or they're in their 50s, right? What about, should parents, grandparents be doing something for their kids, for their teenage boys, for their young adult boys now as more a preventative measure to make sure they have a healthier prostate when they turn 50?
So the screenings that are in place right now, technology hasn't gotten that advanced. But you asked a wonderful question, because the way I do this in clinical practice, as not a crystal ball, but something that I do recommend younger patients. So BPH, certainly prostate cancer. This doesn't really affect us until we're in our early 50s. Some ethnicities earlier, African Americans have to be conscientious earlier in their early to mid 40s. But your doctor will have that conversation with you based on ethnicity. But you ask a wonderful question again. The way I do this in clinical practice is by evaluating DNA. So genes tell us a lot way in advance, and where you can't change your genes, your DNA is your DNA. It's what mom and dad dealt you those cards, and now you got to play them in the game of life, as I like to say. But knowing them is empowering. So there are certain genes, and there's two I'll mention really quick. There's a gene, single gene that converts testosterone into dihydrotestosterone. One gene does that in the male body. And remember, it's the DHT which fires up the prostate into enlargement. Then there's two genes, UGT2B17 and 2B15, that actually excretes testosterone from the DHT source. You literally pee it out. And that's called glucuronidization. Anyway, so those genes you can see. And if you're very quick, Kevin, so it's about speed of conversion. It's not like some people do it and some people don't. It's the speed. So if you produce a lot of DHT from testosterone and then you don't clear it very effectively, genetically, you're the type of person to hold on to a lot of DHT. That in the clinical literature and the scientific literature shows significant risk, higher risk for BPH and prostate cancer. So when we talk about prevention, and there you go, there's the DNA within the cell and the nucleolus, and there's that UGT2B17 gene, which allows for clearance. When that gene is very slow, it doesn't clear DHT very quickly. So thanks for showing that, and ultimately that predisposes to BPH, benign prostate hypertrophy, and prostate cancer. Now, there are things that I would recommend for the younger person that happen to identify that genetic subset, and we'll talk about those in the kitchen momentarily.
Okay, so let's talk about the couch. What's going on the couch?
On the couch, it's stress and mental health, Kev, and thank you so much for. I joined you on your show, The Happy Molecule, but thank you so much for starting this initiative. I mean, you're a huge voice for mental health and men's mental health, and I think people need to know more about this. So over to you. I mean, tell us about The Happy Molecule.
Well, The Happy Molecule is kind of, I'm trying to make a bit of a franchise, I guess. So The Happy Molecule itself started out as a podcast, and it's available now on all the major podcast sites. If it isn't, let me know. So it's on Apple, it's on Amazon, etc. And it is just a show about positivity, about mental health, great tips, great advice. People like Bryce Wild, who is, of course, the author of Brain Spanners, which is available. Hold on. Brain Spanners available now. No, it's January. Sorry.
No, it's available. It's definitely available. Yeah, thank you.
Sorry. But anyway, we talk about mental health, and we talk about advice, and we talk about positivity, and we talk about the fact you can get control. And this is something I have learned from you over the years, that you need to just get control. That's what you need to be in charge of your body, not your body in charge of you. And because that's what happens when it's too late. It becomes in charge of you. So we're doing that with mental health. So there's that. We also have the Happy Molecule Extra, which is the website and is a Facebook Live show and a blog. And so that is thehappymolecule.com. All the details there. And it's a journey that I'm taking with my depression. Will join me in the journey. Perhaps the most important thing you're going to find in this is that you're not alone, that you're in good company.
Absolutely. Kev, we should mention the fact that, we've been friends and, I've been on air with you, I don't know, more times than I could even remember, but now for 20 years. Mm-hmm. And you witnessed this, you're always so kind to share your personal stories, but I got to share mine as it relates to anxiety. I was on air on breakfast television doing a typical segment, and I had, out of the blue, never experienced it before, and I haven't thankfully since, a panic attack. I had a panic attack on air. I'll never forget the day I thought my heart was going to explode and my brain was going to explode, and I started breathing heavily, and I didn't know what was happening to me, even though I'm a clinician. I should know what was happening to me. So I deduced after that I had not only had way too much coffee that morning, but I was taking, of all things, because stress was high for me at that particular time, that week. In fact, I think it was actually book deadlines, come to think of it. I was writing Brain Spanners, ironically enough. So I had taken a supplement for stress called an adaptogen, an adrenal adaptogen for stress. And I of all people, didn't do my due diligence really properly to read the fine print. It was given to me to sample. What was in it was an adrenal concentrate, okay? Pork rind, organic adrenal concentrate. So from the adrenal glands of an organic pig. And it fired me up so much and pushed my adrenal glands so much that it caused essentially a chemical change in me that had me panic. And the reason I say all this is it's important. It's not about the story about the supplement so much as it is to be honest and share stories about mental health and anxiety, because there's help out there so long as we carry and continue this conversation. So thank you for doing the Happy Molecule. It's a wonderful
So
podcast.
it's the same as what we're talking about today. And it helps to talk about things, and guys don't talk about these things. You know, it was painful when I went to the bathroom, something like that. Don't keep it to yourself.
Right.
Talk about it. It's, you know, it may seem embarrassing, but that's your health. You know, that's your health. It's nothing is off limits. Nothing is. And you know what? If it's embarrassing, so what? Snicker at it, but then get something done. So talk about it. Same thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And get checked. You know, Flora, I just want to send my deepest condolences. She says her husband died 2 years ago of prostate cancer. We got to get checked, guys. We got to get checked. And that's the underlying theme today. I'm doing the Movember mustache on Movember movement. So you can also find me, by the way, at the movember.ca. And if you're able and willing, you know, you just post a donation there, and maybe, you know, certain folks, if they're able to, $10, $20, every dollar, you know, can really help. I'm in my kitchen, right? We talked about, so younger generation, what especially they could start eating more of to thwart benign prostate hypertrophy and hyperplasia and prostate cancer. And Kev, it starts with this. I don't think kale is the new beef, but I definitely can tell you we need to eat more of this. Kale, cabbage, mustard greens. This is part of the cabbage is part of the cruciferous family. So the cruciferous group of vegetables helps us guys dump estrogen, and we want that because as we also get older, estrogenized guys, we get man boobs. They're called moobs. There's a word, moobs. So kale helps to flush the estrogen and also certain aspects of the testosterone. So that's really important.
If I could suggest as well, because I'm not a big, I don't like the taste or the texture, no, the texture of kale when I'm eating. So chop it up, throw it in a salad.
Yeah.
You know, won't even notice it. So put it in with some lettuce, put it in with some spinach and things like that. Chop it up.
You got to, my favorite kale recipe, I bet you would love this. You got to try it. Actually, Martha Stewart posted it. Dr. Andrew Weil, my mentor, he started. He's the granddaddy of natural medicine, big bearded guy, twice the cover of Time, New York Time magazine. He's got a wonderful clinical practice still going in his 70s in Arizona. But Dr. Andrew Weil has a kale recipe with Padorno cheese and pine nuts, right ratio of the lemon acid with olive oil. You got to check it out. Just do Dr. Andrew Weil kale salad. All right. As Kevin goes to get something,
I want to do a little bit of a promotion too for our friend.
Sure.
This is your time, yeah. And again, this is backwards. I'm sorry. But it's Joy McCarthy, the Joyous Cookbook. She is a holistic nutritionist. She is brilliant. And she has lots of recipes for kale as well. So I just wanted to give her a plug.
Yeah. Curly Manny is asking, is it true that mustard seeds help extract nutrients of broccoli? Broccoli is also the cruciferous family. That is also true. It's really interesting how synergy works in nature. We talk a lot about turmeric, right? A really wonderful spice. It's healthy to all aspects of the immune system, reduces inflammation. Turmeric doesn't really get into our system so easily, but when you combine it with black pepper, for example, then all of a sudden it does actually get into the body more easily. So there's a lot of different ways in which we can enhance nutrient bioavailability. The next one, though, I want to mention are pumpkin seeds.
Yeah.
Zinc, very important for the prostate. Zinc health, prostate health, zinc.
You know what? I have on my counter, I'm going to, wait, hold on. One second, hold on. Hold on, I just bashed into something here. What I've done is, where are we here? There we go. Come on, click. On my counter, I have got these jars. I got them from the dollar store, and I keep them filled. So there's sunflower seeds, there's the pumpkin seeds, raisins, and then a variety of different nuts. And so whenever I can, I'll pop them in my mouth, or I'll just spread them on something. I'll throw them on a salad. I'll throw them on my oatmeal. I'm killing myself here. I'll
That's
put them.
organized, right?
What's
If,
that?
if we're not organized, things don't happen.
Yeah.
So that's a great thing to do. Kev, I hope you're also stocking up on these every so often.
Are those turnips?
Beets.
Oh, beets? No. Yeah, no. Throw them away.
Don't
No.
like them. So beets, so get this. So beets
Mm.
have a high amount of nitric oxide in them. Very heart healthy. Also shown to improve blood flow and improve erectile dysfunction. And if you don't like beets, here's what I want you to drink more of. You're all right with green tea?
Yeah.
All right. Green tea has got that theanine in it that I talked about earlier on, but also something very important, EGCG. Epigallocatechin gallate. Say that 10 times fast. This is very high in green tea. EGCG can also be supplemented with, but what that does is protect the prostate, and that actually creates a better scenario for that clearance of that DHT I mentioned. Here's we're doing a little bit too much of this, I think, though, Kev, around this time. Most of us on average, and we know this because alcohol sales have skyrocketed. So we know no one's going to lie to me by telling me that over this quarantine, you're not gaining that 15. There's a thing, quarantine 15, so much of it's related to alcohol, overconsumption, and that is no good for prostate glands. That is no good for our brain, our heart, our body. But check this out. This is another product, Sobernix. See what it says on the label there?
Yeah. No,
Advanced alcohol.
backwards.
Right. Advanced alcohol support. Harvard study, okay? Harvard study showed that you let these guys, college students, drink as much beer as they wanted, okay? One group was given placebo, which is a sugar pill, does nothing. So this one group was given placebo, and another group was given Sobernix, which is a kudzu, which is a root from a plant. It's a weed, actually, grown throughout the southern U.S. Kudzu, and found in Sobernix, caused the group that took it to drink 50% less at will. They were able to drink, as it was a beer garden, it was a beer buffet, and they just naturally drank 50% less beer in this study. So taking this and putting into your water, staying hydrated, putting the Sobernix in water, ultimately at night when you want that, sort of reduces cravings. So when you want that second, third, fourth drink perhaps, you're not going to have it. So I just found that very interesting. So look it up. Again, another PubMed research to do is you look up kudzu and Sobernix and alcohol cravings, reduces them significantly.
All right. Next space we're going to the gym. Are we going to?
We're gonna head off into my basement here, and I know not everybody has an at-home gym. I happen to have one, and thankfully I have one over these times I've had to rely on it because we can't go out to the gym. Honestly though, Kev, we're meant to push, pull, jump, squat, and lift, and you can do all of that without weights. Half an hour a day. It's called HIIT, or you want to research HIIT, high intensity interval training. That's what we need to do, especially as guys. If we don't maintain our muscle mass, that is the number one predictor of all-cause mortality, frailty, literally, more than diabetes, heart disease, and cancer, all forms of cancer combined. Frailty. That's when you don't move your body as often as you should. And as a guy, it's even more important. Why? Because gaining muscle mass and maintaining muscle mass throughout our older years is exactly what's going to keep us living longer, and a healthier prostate and a healthier heart and a healthier brain. And again, on that prostate tip, I can't endorse highly enough this product here, Prostate One, because it's all natural, saw palmetto from A.Vogel. As I mentioned, thank you to them for sponsoring my bit today. So what I want guys to know is it actually treats BPH. It actually treats benign prostate hyperplasia naturally and very quickly with no side effects. So guys, get exercising. It's so imperative. What do you do for exercise, Kev?
Oh, I'm sorry you're breaking up there, Bryce. I can't hear a word you're saying.
I almost took that seriously for a second. No, dude, listen, it's as easy as push-ups, sit-ups, jump squats. You don't need weights. You don't need a gym, but you do need to move the body, and it's what it expects. Again, I want to see you living as long as possible, Kev. You're a good friend of mine, and so that's my prescription to you. If you miss anything else that I said today, start with 10 minutes and graduate every week with another 5 minutes. But what you're going to do is you're going to jump, squat, lift, push, and pull.
You know what? something really interesting to me on my pod. You said many interesting things, but you said something on the podcast about saunas
Yeah.
and working out. So tell me about that.
Well, so research shows that so long as you are getting, an intense heat, and such a sauna can deliver, and that's what partly what workout's doing, that an intense sauna over the course of 30 minutes is basically equivalent to getting a good cardio workout on, especially for the heart and the brain. So what it does is it boosts BDNF, or brain-derived neurotrophic factor, equally as well as exercise. And what that is a feel-good molecule. It's also in charge of neuroplasticity. It's in charge of neurogenesis. It keeps a very healthy brain. So studies again show that an infrared sauna at high heat, high temperatures, about 110, 115 for half an hour is basically equivalent. Excuse me, is equivalent to is a good workout.
Great. And you know what? Good for your mental health too.
That's right, absolutely. So a couple other questions, Kev. I know we've gone over, and I appreciate you spending this time with me. And I had one that was a little higher up. I can't remember. She said it's around prostatitis, and I can't remember who asked because there's a ton. And so thank you for all your comments. Prostatitis is inflammation of the prostate, and it's very different than benign prostate hyperplasia, which is enlargement, and cancer. And it's often caused by infection, bacterial infection of the prostate. And so you want, there's nothing specifically in natural medicine that addresses prostatitis. You want to talk to your doctor about the variety of antibiotics. But I will say, having taken, prostatitis actually affects younger guys, and it's inflammation, and it's very painful, and it's very can get complicated, and it needs antibiotics. But I will say, once you've taken the antibiotics, you need to make sure you do a course, at least 2 months worth of probiotics, along with those prebiotics that we spoke about in the bedroom, because your gut holds 80% of your immune system. It's called gut-associated lymphoid tissue. And that is all of that working for your global immune system. And if it's interrupted by antibiotics, which kill all good bacteria as well as bad bacteria in your gut, then you're going to suffer in the longer term. And then also, what is ubiquinol good for, and do we need it? Yeah, so guys do need ubiquinol. Ubiquinol is amazing for the heart, for the brain. It helps you to charge up your mitochondria, which manufacture the equivalent of energy for your cells. Every cell in your body is made up of trillions, and it supports those mitochondria by protecting them. I like this. There's something that's called a stack, Kevin. That's when you take multiple supplements together to achieve better outcome. My favorite stack is ubiquinol, which is a form of CoQ10 that's active. You add to that something called PQQ, or pyrroloquinol quinine, and then on top of that something called nicotinamide riboside, right? NR. So these three things together have been shown to very effectively boost the function of the mitochondria for increased energy output, without stimulating you, of course. Also replicate the mitochondria, which are highest in concentration in the brain and your heart. So your brain and your heart work better. Because they're high, those cells have higher concentrations of this organelle, the mitochondria, that makes energy for you. And then nicotinamide riboside is the direct precursor downstream molecularly for ATP. So you do this stack, and I actually cut. I want to be honest here, about 90 seconds, almost 2 minutes off my 10K run time. So I was on average, the best I could ever do when I pushed myself really hard was about 42 minutes for 10 kilometers running. I got it to just under 40 minutes, pretty fast. Anyone else out there who runs will know that that's a fast 10K. And I was only able to do that when I was taking that stack. So many people are saying hi to you, Kev. So nice to see you. We miss you on television.
Sorry, folks, I can't see the comments for some reason all of a sudden. I saw them in our test, and I can't see it now.
Yeah, no worries. So, look, we've almost gone a full hour here, and I appreciate your time. I assume maybe we would do 30 minutes, but we've gone to all these different rooms in the house. I hope that was helpful to you guys for sort of creating a bit of a visual as where we want to get certain things done to help protect our prostate. I just want to say one more shout out to A.Vogel, one of my favorite Swiss manufacturing facilities. I've been there a few times. I do my due diligence whenever I promote a particular raw material or ingredient. And these guys have made my favorite, and I've been using them for years in clinical practice, prostate support and treatment. This is called Prostate One. It's made with saw palmetto. You guys can pick it up in health food store. It's not a prescription, and help to thwart benign prostate hyperplasia. It's been proven to improve sexual function, erectile function, libido, as well as maintain a healthy prostate, Kev.
And so, if I could suggest to anyone, to the ladies out there right now who are watching, hey, when your guy comes home or when you're talking to him next, just bring it up. Say, hey, how's your prostate? And you know what? Yeah, but talk about it. It's going to be awkward at first sometimes. Then it just becomes more and more and more normal.
Yeah, and you know what? She's so Shannon Muri is echoing your sentiments. More men need to be on this chat, not just the women who love them. I couldn't have said it better myself. I wish they were, but please do carry this message, as Kevin alludes to, over to your husband, your father, your brother. Because guys just don't do what we're supposed to do when it comes to our health. We just don't.
There's our Magnum PI theme for Movember for our good friend Bryce. And I'm going to show you something else here. Hold on. There we are. So watch this. All right. I'm going to show you. All right. So there is the Movember website, which is simply Movember.com. And what you're going to do here is you are going to go down to this column and you're going to type in Bryce, Bryce, Wild. And then, now that is not a Crime Stoppers photo. Okay. I'm just pointing out that is not a Crime Stoppers photo. But it's very simple. Now you can donate to me here on the bottom. So that's great.
Hey.
And you're hoping to get $2,000. Let's bring you up there. You're at $250 right now. It's a great start. And let's help this man shave December the 1st.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you.
And don't forget to watch Kevin's or listen to Kevin's podcast. It's called The Happy Molecule. And thank you so much for all that you're doing for men and women as it relates to mental health.
Thank you, Bryce. And thank you.
Thanks so much to everybody out there. Appreciate it. We'll jump on again soon. We'll make this Instagram thing maybe a thing. Thanks, Kev. Have a great day, bud.
Bye-bye.